Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you guys who clicked our video. Why do I say our video? Can you guys guess it? Yes, correct. So, in this video, I will deliver a materials with my beautiful partner. Before we move to the material video, it's better to you guys to like and comment our video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. In Indonesia, there is a proverb, tak kenal maka tak sayang. So, let me introduce myself and my partner. I'm Sulistia Nurwinda, and here is a photo of my partner. She is Sofia Marwahanan. We both in the same class, 1E class in University of Singapura Bangsa, Karawang. Oh, by the way, this is our first YouTube video, so I hope you guys can enjoy it. And I want to say sorry if there are many mistakes of our video, but we're sure that we will do our best. So, let's move to the material video. Check it out. As you guys can see on the title, I will explain about initiating conversation, and my partner will explain about feeling and wishes. So, let's start. For the first one, I want to ask you guys, what is conversation? You guys can guess it now. I will hear. What is conversation? Yeah? Correct. Conversation is an informal talk involving two people or a small group of people. The act of talking in an informal way, a casual, we can use telephone or private conversation, and we can do a direct conversation too. There are many ways to initiate conversation. Do you guys know how do people usually start the conversation? Do you guys know? Sometimes we do it without words. For example, we can get our listeners' attention by looking on their eyes. Like we're just staring on their eyes. Of course, we can use words too. We can break the ice and start the conversation with a common greeting like hello or hi. And after we greet someone, we might make a comment to get the conversation going. For example, we could pay a compliment. There are many types of the compliment. Compliment is a polite remark that you say to someone to show that you like their appearance, appreciate their qualities, or approve of what they have done. For example, wow, you look so pretty, or that's a dope, or what a great idea. There are many ways to initiate a conversation. First, when you want to initiate conversation with words. Number 1, you can use a standard greeting. Like I said before, standard greeting, hi, hello, or for the Muslim, Assalamualaikum, something like that. It's simple, right? Number 2, you can use the person's name, like you just call their name. It's simple. And number 3, ask an easy to answer opening question such as how are you? Or how are you doing? Or you can make a comment, give a compliment, comment of what's happening, or share some information. And when you want to initiate a conversation without words, you can do this. Number 1, use the body actions like standing near the other person. Or number 2, look at the other person's face, on their eyes. Number 3, smile at the other person. Like, it's very simple. You just smile. Number 4, you can tap the other person on their shoulder. This is shoulder. And these are the following expressions to initiate a conversation. A, muster up your courage and start greeting. For the first example, excuse me, do you have a time? Or, excuse me, do you know what time it is? And for the second one is, hi, Is this seat taken? If the answer is no, then you can follow up with, do you mind if I sit here? And after you sit, don't forget to say thank you. B. Notice something about the other person and comment on it in a nice way. For the first example, that's really nice hoodie. Can I ask where you got it? The second one, I really like your hat. Did you get them near here? C. If they show some responses, ask one or two follow-up questions to get more details, such as, is that store near here? Or, was it good value? What do you guys think after we start the conversation? Yes, we should continuing the conversation, right? So how can we continuing the conversation? Here's are some tips. 1. You can use an open-ended question. What is an open-ended question? Open-ended questions are those which require more thought and more than a simple one-word answer. Meanwhile, when you use a closed-ended question, it only can be answered by yes or no. So when you're continuing the conversation, it's better to use open-ended question. Here is the example of open-ended question. How was your day? Or you can say, what have you been up to today? Number 2, you can ask follow-up question. To show that you actually care about how someone answers your questions, follow up with further questions. When our conversations die out, it's usually because we don't come off as sincere and interested enough. For the example, what have you been up to today? Working, mainly. And you can follow up with, how's work going for you at the moment? You can do that. Number 3, balance between sharing and asking questions. To find a good balance between sharing and asking questions, you can try the IFR method. What is IFR methods? Do you guys know what is IFR methods? Okay, let me explain. IFR stands for I for inquire, ask a sincere question. F for follow up, ask a follow-up question. And R for relate, share something about you to break up your questions and keep the conversation balanced. Number 4, imagine the other person a timeline. To get a conversation going, visualize a timeline. Your goal is to fill in the blanks. The middle is now, which is a natural point to start the conversation. So you start talking about the very moment you're in, then work your way back and forth along the timeline. A natural conversation ripples away from the current moment into both the past and the future. It can start off with a few banal comments about how the food you're eating at dinner is nice and can end up being about dreams or childhood. For the example, questions about the present moment. How do you like the salmon rolls? Or, do you know the name of this song? And you can use the question about the near future. What kind of work do you do? Or, what are you studying? How do you like it? You can use equations about the medium and long-term future. For the example, what do you do when you're not working? Number 5, you must avoid asking too many questions in a row. I complied the questions above as a list for your reference. However, you don't want to interview the other person, right? You want to have a conversation. So, in between these questions, share relevant things about yourself. The conversation might take off in any direction, far away from the timeline. Number 6, be genuinely interested. Don't ask for the sake of asking questions. Ask them so you can get to know someone. 7, find mutual interest to talk about. To get a conversation going past the small talk, you sooner or later need to find a mutual interest to talk about. That's why I ask questions or mention things I think people might be interested in. What do you think the person you talk about might like to talk to? Literature, health, technology, arts? Luckily, we can often make assumptions about what someone might be interested in and bring it into the conversation. If you read a lot, you could say, I just finished this book. Do you read a lot? But if you don't get a positive response, try to asking about something else or mentioning something else. Why are mutual interests so powerful to get a conversation going? Do you guys know? Because when you find one, you'll get a special connection that you only get with people you share interests with. At this point, you can leave a small talk behind and discuss something you both really enjoy. Number 8, face the other person and keep eye contact. If you feel uncomfortable or don't like being around people, you might intuitively look or turn away from the person you're talking to. The problem is that people interpret this as disinterest or even dishonesty, which means they want to invest the conversation. Make sure to do the following things to really signal that you're listening. Be sure to, number 1, face the person. Number 2, keep eye contact as long as the person is talking. And you can give feedback like nods and Number 9, use the FORD rule. Do you guys know what is FORD rule? Come on, you can guess it. Okay, so you can talk about F. What is F? F is for family. You can talk about family. O for occupation, R for recreation, and last, D for dreams. These are safe topics that work in most situations. For me, family, occupation, and recreation are the topics for small talk. The really interesting conversations are about passions, interests, and dreams. But you need to make small talk before people are comfortable enough to dive deeper into more fascinating topics. Number 10. You must avoid coming on too strong. Whenever someone's too eager to talk, they come off as a bit needy. As a result, people are more reluctant to talk to them. I've been guilty of this mistake myself, but you don't want to go too far in the opposite direction and appear standoffish. Try to be proactive, as we've discussed in this guide. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. If you're talking to a colleague at work or someone you'll meet repeatedly, there is no need to hit them with lots of conversation. You can get to know someone and share things about yourself over the coming days and weeks. Be warm and approachable, but accept that socializing and making friends take time. 11. Practice being okay with silence. Silence is a natural part of conversation. This silence is only acquired if you panic and make it awkward. When there's an awkward silence, that doesn't mean that it's only you who needs to come up with something to say. The other person probably feels the same pressure. If you continue the conversation in a relaxed manner rather than stress out while trying to think of something to say, you'll help the other person relax too. 12. Return to a previous topic. Conversations don't have to be linear. If you hit a dead end, you can take a few steps backward and talk about something the other person mentioned in passing. For example, so can you tell me more about that trip to Amsterdam you mentioned earlier? I'd love to hear about what you did there. Or you can say, I think you say that you've just started learning how to paint in oils. How's that going? 13. Tell a story. Brief Interesting stories can make a conversation livelier and help other people get to know you better. Have 2 or 3 stories ready to tell. They should be easy to follow and portray you as a relatable human being. If someone enjoys your story and they have a good sense of humor, you could ask them for a story in return. For example, you could say, "Okay, that's my most embarrassing moment this year. Your turn." 14. Stay well informed. It's taking 10 minutes every day to skim the news and the latest social media trends can help you out if a conversation dries up. Read a few obscure or amusing stories too. If you are generally well informed, you'll be able to have a serious or light-hearted conversation depending on the context. 15. Say whatever in your mind. This technique is sometimes called blurting and is the opposite of overthinking. When you're trying to think of something to say, go for the first thing that comes to mind, unless it is offensive, so you don't have to say it. Try not to worry about coming off as clever or witty. If you pay attention to people making conversation, you'll notice that most of the things they say are quite mundane, and that's okay. You don't always want to blurt things out. However, doing it as an exercise for a period of time can help you overthink less. 16. You can ask for advice or a recommendation. Asking someone for advice about a topic they love is a good way to start a conversation. Trust me. The conversation will also be enjoyable for you because you'll get some useful information. 17. Prepare topics in advance. If you're going to a social event and know who will be there, you can prepare a few conversations, topic, and question in advance. For the example, if you're going to a friend's party and you know they have invited a lot of their old school friends, there's a good chance that you'll meet your old friend too. So you could prepare a few questions about something like how they choose their career and what they most enjoy about their job. 18. Have a beginner's mind. When someone starts talking about a topic that is totally alien to you, take the advantage of the fact you have no background knowledge. Ask them some beginner's question. They can start a great conversation, and the other person will feel as though you really care about their interest. 19. Stay positive. If you criticize someone else's interest, they probably want to talk to you, and the conversation might become awkward. Instead of criticizing, try the following example. 1. Challenge yourself to find out why the person likes their hobby so much. There might be more to their interest than you think. 2. Try to find some common ground. For example, if someone's talk about their love of horse riding and you find it boring, you could broaden the topic and start talking about outdoor sports as a general topic. From there, you could talk about nature, keeping fit, or environmental issues. Mirror their question. If someone asks you a question, it's likely that they would be happy to talk about the same topic. For example, when someone asks you, "What do you like to do on weekends?" and you can answer, "I usually hang out with my friends on weekend." So, what about you? You can do that. It's very easy, right? 21. Look around you for inspiration. Pair an observation with a question. For example, if you are talking to someone at a wedding, you could say, "This is such a beautiful venue for a wedding ceremony. How do you know the couple?" 22. Make the task assumption. For example, if you are talking to a motorcycle enthusiast, it makes sense to ask them questions about bikes or biking. You don't have to ask them direct questions about these topics. You can weave them into the conversation in a natural, low-key way. So, that's all from me. I hope you guys can understand what I have explained to you. And the second material will deliver by my beautiful partner, Sophia Marwahanan. So, next.
Hello everyone, I'm Sophia Marwahanan. I'm from the English Education Department from class 1E. In this occasion, I would like to tell you or explain about feelings and wishes. So, emotions or feelings are part of who we are, but sometimes they can be like confusing or complicated. But feelings are used to describe sensations through either an experience or perceptions. Generally, there are 5 main types of emotions or feelings, and I'm going to tell you and explain about it more. So the first one is enjoyment. People generally like to feel calm, happy, and good. You might express this feeling by smiling, laughing, or indulging yourself. So, you might experience these enjoyment feelings when you witnessing or participating in human act of goodness and kindness, or when you experience something humorous and amusing. It can be when you achieve your personal achievement, or when you experience something beautiful, surprising, and amazing. It can be when you're feeling connected to someone or something, like person, animals, or places, and many more. So the next one is sadness. People might feel sad from time to time. This emotion might relate to a specific event such as loss or rejection. But in other cases, you might have no idea why you feel sad. Sadness is a normal emotion that can make our life more interesting. We might feel sad when we lost our loved ones. Sadness also helps us to appreciate more about happiness. There are many types of sadness, such as gloomy, lonely, heartbroken, lost, disappointed, and many more. These are the ways to experience a normal sadness in your life. The first one is allowing yourself to be sad. Denying such feeling can cause them underground. Cry if you feel like it, and notice if you feel relief after the tears stop. After that, you can ask for a support from your family or your loved ones. Don't feel sad alone. Tell them and tell a story to them. Number 3, you can write a journal or listening to music that you like. You can draw to express your emotion of sadness. Number 3 is fearness. Fear is a natural, powerful, and primitive human emotions. Fear alerts us to present the danger or threat or harm, whether the danger is physical or psychological. Sometimes fear stands for a real threat, but in some cases, it can also originate form of an imagined danger. Fear can also be a symptom of some mental health problem like panic disorder or social anxiety and many more. Depending on that perceived threat, fear can range from mild to severe. Fear can make you feel worried, nervous, terrified, or anxious. Fear is a totally normal emotion, but there are things or ways you can do to combat it. The first one is comfort your fear instead of avoiding it. If you're afraid of something, whether it's a serious discussion or your fear of a ghost or your fear of meeting new people or driving, It's natural to stay away from the source of your fear, but this can often make your fear worse. So, instead, try to face your fear safely. For the example, if you have the fearness of driving, instead of avoiding it, get back in your car and start to drive right away. Ask for a person to accompany you to drive. For the first time, stick close to your house. Just drive and don't avoid it. Number 2, distract yourself from your fear. Sometimes fear can be so overwhelming that it's hard to think about anything else. But letting some thoughts play in our mind over and over again can have a negative impact on your emotional state. It can also make your fears become worse. So, if you feel yourself worry in a cause of stress, try something distracting. For example, when you're alone and you have a fear to be alone, try to listen to music or podcasts to distract your fear. And for the last one is consider your fear logically. Take a moment to think about your fear. Is there anything you can do about it? Can your fear actually harm you? Or what's the worst thing that could ever happen to you if your fear came true? Knowing how to deal with your fear can help you less afraid. And if you still think that you can get out of your fear, you can consider to go to a therapist. They can help you to navigate your panic attacks, your phobias, your anxiety, and other mental health issues. They can help you. And for the next emotions are anger. Anger usually happens when you experience some type of injustice. This experience can make you feel threatened, trapped, or unable to defend yourself. Many people think that anger is a negative emotion, but the truth that anger is a normal emotion that can help you know when the situation have become toxic. When you experience this anger feeling, you might feel annoyed, frustrated, mad, irritated, and many more. Anger sometimes can cause problems with you and people around you. So, these are ways to deal with your anger. The first one is take a break. When you feel frustrated, putting some distance between you and your situation that make you upset can help you avoid the outburst anger. Try to walk or listening to calm music, and while you put it sometimes to stay away, you can think or consider what's causing you or what make you angry. Or you can think, does your situation have another perspective? Can you do anything to make it better? Think about it and just stay away from your cause of your anger. Number 2 is express your anger constructively. You might avoid talking about your anger to help prevent conflict. Instead, take time to cool off and try to express your feelings calmly and respectfully. Number 3 is focus on finding a solution. Anger is often difficult to deal because it makes you feel helpless. Working to solve problems that causing you your anger can help relieve this frustration. You may not able to fix every situation that makes you angry, but you can usually do something to bring about some improvement. For the example, ask about someone or other people what they think about your problem that caused your anger. Different perspective can help you consider your solution, and you may not only see yourself as in your perspective or in your glasses. And the last one is disgust. You typically experience disgust as a reaction to an unpleasant or an unwanted situation. The same things like anger, feeling of disgust can help you to protect yourself from things you want to avoid. It can also pose a problem that leads you to dislike certain people, including yourself, or situations that aren't necessarily bad for you. Feeling of disgust can make you feel disapproving, uncomfortable, horrified, offended, and dislike. Disgust can happen as a natural response to something you dislike. In some situation, you might want to work through or overcome your disgust. These strategies might help you to overcome your feelings of disgust. The first one is practice compassion. It's common to feel uncomfortable when facing things you fear of and you doesn't understand or dislike. Like many people doesn't really like being around sick people. For example, if you feel disturbed when you think about sick people, try spending more time with your unwell friend or offering to help them out. But you have to make sure that they aren't contagious first, because you also have to protect your own health. Number 2 is focus on the behavior, not the person. If someone do or does something you don't like or disgusts you, you may disapprove and react by withdrawing and pushing them away from you or getting angry. But instead, you might try to talk to that person. For example, if your sister or your brother smokes and you don't like it, don't like coughing loudly and make them pointed comments about smell or the smoke or something, but instead try to tell her that smoke is not good for their health and find ways to support them to stop smoking. But if you have a feel strong dislike towards a group of people or a specific person or even yourself, consider talking to a therapist. They know exactly what's behind your disgust, and they can help you work through with it and explore positive ways of coping with it. So that's the 5 main types of feelings or emotions. I hope my explanation will be clear for you to understand. And now let's move on to wishes. So move on to wishes. What is the definition of wishes? Wishes are a strong feeling or desire, or we can say hope for something that is not easily attainable. So if you want something that cannot or probably will not happen, or maybe it can happen, it was called a wish. There are many types of wishes. For the first one is wishes about the present and future. Wish plus past simple is used to express that we want a situation in the present or future to be different. For the example is, I wish I spoke Italian. It means that right now or this present time we cannot speak Italian, but we want in the future we want to able to speak Italian. So we use spoke to express our wish. So I wish I spoke Italian. For other example is I wish I had a big car. So I don't have a big car now, but I want in the future to have a big car. So the sentence is I wish I had a big car. Wish plus past continuous is used to express that we want to be doing a different action in the present or future. For the example, if right now I'm sitting on a chair at my house and I was imagining that I want to sit on a beach, so we can make the sentence like this: I wish I were sitting on the beach now. But the truth is not. See, I were sitting, it's a past continuous. For the other example is you're gonna leave tomorrow, but you don't want to. You wish you don't want to go or leave tomorrow. You can use this sentence: I wish you weren't leaving tomorrow. For notes, in standard English we use were. So like I wish I were or I wish it were, but however I wish I was or I wish it was are also common to use. For the example, it will be like this: I wish I was on the beach, or I wish it was the weekend, or I wish I was sitting on the beach now. For the next one is wishes about the past. Wish plus past perfect is used to express a regret or that we want a situation in the past to be different. For the example, I already eat a lot of food and I regretted that I eat a lot of food. So I can make a sentence like this: I wish I hadn't eaten so much food, because I regret it in present situation. I regret that I eat so much food. For the next example, like you were lazy or I was lazy at school and I had a bad score when there's a test. So if I want to make a wish, I will say like I wish I had studied harder at school. I wish I had studied harder at school. For the next one is wish plus would. Wish plus would is used to express impatience, annoyance, or dissatisfaction with a present action. For example, if there is someone smoking, or you are smoking at the moment and it's annoying me, you can say like this: I wish you will stop smoking. I wish you will stop smoking. Or if you are impatient because it's raining and you want to go outside, you will say, I wish it would stop raining. I wish it would stop raining. And the next example is when you're annoyed because she is speaking or she is talking, you can say like this: I wish she'd be quiet. I wish she'd be quiet. For the next example is wish and hope. Wish and hope is used to express that you want something to happen in the future, but not wanting a situation to change, or not implying an impatience or an annoyance. You can use hope instead of wish. For the example, if you want tomorrow to be sunny, you can say, I hope it's sunny tomorrow, rather than I wish it was sunny tomorrow. You can say, I hope it's sunny tomorrow. For other example, if you wishing your friend or you want her to pass the exam next week, you can say like this: I hope she passes her exam next week, instead of I wish she were passing her exam next week. You can say, I hope she passes her exam next week. So other than that grammatical types of wishes, I want to tell you a little about this mainly types of wishes. Several cultures engage customs that entail wish granting. such as blowing out a candles on a birthday cake. You have to make a wish before you blow a candle on a birthday cake. When you're seeing a shooting star at night, or when you're tossing a coin into a wishing well or a fountain. There are also a culture that blowing a dandelions or writing wishes on a ribbon or a key, it will make your dreams come true. But many believe that such wishes can only come true if you are kept a secret from other people, or you don't tell your wish to other people. On the other hand, many people believe that wishes come true if they told someone. So it depends on your opinion and on your beliefs.
Let's talk first about having conversations with people we know. Let's say you want to start a conversation with someone you know in your school. You might start with a greeting and then ask a question.
Hey, what's up?
Nothin', just waiting for class to start. How are you?
Good. Are you going to Lego Club after school today?
I'm planning on it. I have a lot of great ideas about what to work on.
By starting with a greeting, and then asking a question about something happening, these two friends have started a conversation. The conversation may be long or short. When we know someone, we can usually talk about topics related to the past, present, future, and interests. Questions about the past focus on what someone has done. For example, what did you do last weekend? Questions about the present ask about what is happening right now. For example, you might ask someone, are you having fun? If something fun is happening right now. Questions about the future might include plans that others have coming up either soon or even later on. For example, you could ask, what are you doing for summer break? Finally, conversations about interests have to do with hobbies, activities, and interests of the other person. You can ask questions like, what is your favorite video game? Let's watch another set of friends and see how they do. Notice that we usually start conversations when someone is not busy, and they seem interested in talking.
What do you think of the new Star Wars movie?
I haven't seen it yet. Did you like it?
It was awesome. The special effects were really cool.
What type of conversation topic was this? Past, present, future, or interests? You are right. The two friends are talking about things that interest them, movies. They are probably having green thoughts and feelings about each other. Notice how both friends are using their head. Happy voice, eye contact, answering questions, and distance arm's length away. Now let's see how it is different when we are talking to people we do not know well. We might meet someone our age at a park, store, or event. If they look interested in talking, we can make a comment about what is happening or ask a question that has to do with what is going on. Let's watch as two people are at the same booth at a carnival, looking at iPads and tablets.
Oh cool, the latest model. I hadn't seen one of these yet.
Wow. Me neither.
Do you like to play games or watch videos?
I love playing Minecraft.
Me too.
Cool. Well, gotta go.
See ya.
So I think that's all from me. I think that's all for my explanation about feeling and wishes. I truly hope after you watch my video or after you hear about my explanation about feeling and wishes, you will able to express your feeling or wishes more fluently, or at least you know about that types of feelings and wishes. I truly apologize, I deeply apologize if I had any mistakes in this video. So yeah, thank you for your nice attention and bye.